got him. Yes, sir.
How's it, everybody? Welcome back to another one. Both of my whipping poles are down. My SPX PE1 and my Shimano Terraleo. The insert came out while I was fishing the Terraleo about 2 weeks ago, and then a week after, the same thing happened to my SPX. This is pretty common and there's an easy fix for it. So stay tuned for that video. That'll probably be my next video that I post. But if you know me, I got a backup. I got a few backups. So I busted out this Zanac 100H and my Saltiga 6000. A little bit overkill, a little bit heavy for the type of fishing I was doing. It's more of a light plugging rod, but nonetheless, it did work. I had a small window to get out, and it was a day after the supermoon. I think it had a lot to do with the bite that day because they were biting pretty good. So this video is going to be more like a come along fish with us. Jed had his GoPro on and I had my GoPro on. So you're going to see two different perspectives. For me, my schedule, usually when I fish, it's last minute. So I can't always plan it. And some days it lined up. Today it did. We're going to take you along. We're going to go fishing a rocky shoreline. We're going to be using the Tough Bubble. Jed's using his white and gray fly that he made. I'll put the link below. I'm going to be using same fly, but also going to be using Campania Midnight Rider Serpent and Midnight Rider Crazy Bones. I'll put the link below for that. All right, so this perspective is from Jed. He had his GoPro on and I had my GoPro on. So he's working the SPX PE1 full Tough Bubble large with the gray and white hollow fly, which he made. It's kind of hard to see in this video, but the omilus ended up taking it right there on the inside and got a few good runs. From there, he ended up going kind of behind this big rock, and his braid got stuck on the rock. So at that point, I was doing my best to try to help him land this fish.
It's on the rocks on the other side of that rock.
We could see it was stuck, but it wasn't really worth going all the way out there, so he ended up walking to the other side of the rock.
Here, I'm wondering if I let him run and go on this side. Oh, it looks like an omilu. He's got a lot of...
Decided to kind of do my best to help him land it. Again, because this area is really shallow and a lot of sharp rocks. Super slippery too, even with Tabbies on. I ended up kind of getting a little bit wet, but it was totally worth it. We were both super stoked. We didn't measure it, but I would say maybe around 7 pounds. It was really a fat omilu, really good scrap. And again, we were both super stoked to catch one.
A couple different shots. Put him forward a little bit more and hold it out a little bit. Move him a little to the other side, right?
I was using a fly, but I decided to switch it up to Tough Bubble Crazy Bones, which Campania makes. It's about maybe a 3-inch minnow. This was Midnight Rider, so it's kind of like a purple color.
There we go.
This guy hit, and it was, this setup is pretty overkill, but again, my 2 other whipping poles are down, so I was able to kind of bring this guy in pretty easy. He was a small omilu, always stoked to catch though. This one was catch and release, and he was probably around 11 inches. I didn't measure him. You can see he bit the tail off the Crazy Bones and then took it. So I ended up throwing him back. Next up, I didn't get fight footage of this, but this is a huge surge wrasse, Christmas wrasse people call them. Such a beautiful fish. That thing was a monster. Jed let him go. And then next up, Jed was working that same fly, the white and gray fly that he made, and he ended up hooking another omilu. I think this one was probably 12 to 14 inches. He brought it in pretty fast and did a little CPR, catch, pick, and release. They really seem to like that fly. So I didn't have any more Crazy Bones left, so I decided to switch it up to the Campania Serpents. Same color, Midnight Rider, which is a purple with kind of like red flakes. tough bubble, size 18 BKN hook. I was kind of working the outside, getting the bubble to splash. Then I slowed it down on the inside, and you can see right there. Nice hit.
Oh,
Felt like an omilu. It's definitely a good scrap. At this point, I could have probably tightened my drag a little bit. I don't like to mess with the drag too much, especially in areas like this where it's super sharp. And I was obviously still paranoid from losing that fish last week. Instead of bringing the fish to me, I decided to walk out to the fish, and I kind of wanted to edit this out, but you know what? No shame. But I did end up falling probably like 4 times here. I was determined to land this fish, and you can see all those rocks are covered with algae. So really, already slippery rocks are super slippery with the algae on it, even with tabbies. I'm running my old tabbies too. I haven't broken out the hanapa's yet, but kind of a part of it. So right there, boom, down, but not out. Still in the fight. So I wanted to make it as dramatic as possible. Catching cracks from these waves. Jed's looking at me like, what are you doing? But drag was a little loose. I couldn't gain traction on him. And then finally, it's time to land him. Another wave comes right there and humbled me a little bit more. But we got the fish. I was stoked. Rod and reel were all good, surprisingly. Again, this is my nicest rod and reel. This is a 3-pounder, and I ended up filleting it. My wife and I had it for dinner. Butter caper sauce, obviously with rice, kimchi cucumber, mac salad, a little pork. Super good. Keep these bloodlines for later because they make really good bait. And I also froze the head and the guts. Can use the head for soup later. Look at that skin is such a beautiful fish. Ended up freezing the other stuff. Again, I don't like to waste anything. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. I got some fun videos planned. Hope you have an awesome rest of your October. Take care and tight lines.